Sorry, you guys got a little lost there clicking around. Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? I hope you're having a fabulous Friday. If you're watching this live with us, and let's join our TikTok friends over here. Make sure they're going live. But those of you who are joining me on Facebook, YouTube, now LinkedIn, looks like we have a little check mark or an exclamation point. So it looks like LinkedIn is having issues today. Sorry about that. That's not good. But we normally go live on all of these platforms. And the reason we go to live on all the platforms is because we want to make sure we reach you to help you as a creator, no matter where you're watching. But this is the God and Gigs platform. The God and Gigs show is our podcast. We are here to help you to build your best creator life from the inside out by applying timeless spiritual principles to temporary creative problems. On this particular live stream, the Creator Checkup, we do so by giving you kind of like a round robin discussion of lots of different issues that might be affecting you. Today, we're dealing with timing, God's timing. How do you know you can trust God's timing? We're going to talk about 5 ways to do that, because as creators who love God, who know that He has gifted us and called us, sometimes it's hard to figure out, when do I move? When do I stay? Does He want me to do this? Does He want me to do that? All of these things kind of run around in our heads, kind of like always in the back of our minds, whether or not we're aware of it. And so we have some resources now that can help us to discern the right time to move and the right time to stay based on God's kind of timing, the way that He thinks about time. So you guys that are joining us right now, I would love for you to connect with us, and we do have some ways that you can do that right now. One of the things that I really love about this, whoops, didn't mean to do that again. Keep moving away from the normal things. There we go. We do have some things here on this page that can help us right now. Number one, you can share this wherever you're watching. You can share this. If you're watching on TikTok and can't see my screen, you can join us here on YouTube. Simply go to the bio and you'll be able to find our YouTube link, and then you can join us here and you can see the entire screen. You can also see on the screen, we have a little QR code up here. Where am I pointing? Here it is, where you can join us and give if you want to donate to this particular platform. We are always looking for support. We want to give you value. You don't need to buy anything to be a part of this, but if you want to support us, put a little seed into the ground into other creators it would be a blessing for you to do that. You can just scan that code. If you're not already watching on your phone, you can always use your phone and scan that code, and it will take you to our giving page. Any amount is awesome. I would love to see who else is joining us, so you can also comment as we go. If you want to comment and say hello, I can put your comments on screen. Give me just a second because I forgot to get our slides here, and all of a sudden I'm realizing we can't start without our slides. I'm like, what the heck? Here they are. That's why I was kind of discombobulated half a second ago, because I realized that we did not have everything. But if you want to put comments on the screen, just comment and I will put it up. It kind of looks like that. That's where your questions will pop up. Of course, that would not be the case on TikTok. You guys, I will try to notice over here. We also didn't go live on Instagram today. Again, some of these other platforms are a pain, which is why I am really, really focusing on our app. Because if we can get onto our app, we never have these issues with having, things shut down, third-party systems, like all of that is not an issue when you own the place that you are. So that's really why we are really focusing on getting everybody in the God and Gigs community into our app starting September 1st. That's our big moving day. I'll talk about that in a second. But I want to get right to it. We tried to honor your time, and I want to get you guys in and out, hopefully right at 2 o'clock. So let's talk about what we are going to discuss today. So news and notes. First of all, exciting news in YouVersion. If you didn't know, we do have YouVersion reading plans. YouVersion is the biggest, most popular Bible app in the world. They'll be celebrating over 1 billion installs, 1 billion people with the Bible on their phones. And here's a cool comparison. I never thought about this, but I heard this recently. I think there are 3 billion people who are using YouTube. Okay. So there's 3 billion with YouTube. 1 billion just about to be, are going to have the Bible on their phone. So think about that. 1/3, 2/3 of the people who have YouTube, just doing the math. This is not obviously, this is not real scientific. This is just doing comparison. If you compare 2/3 of people with a YouTube account do not have their Bible on their phone, but they do have YouTube access. So think about how if we just promote more of biblical content as creators, as faith-focused people who want to share the gospel, share the good news, just think how that would impact the world if we just got the Bible into more people's phones. So that's why I would love for you to share our YouVersion devotionals with other creators. And that's what we're going to be doing and talking about today, our new plan. Now, we also have some cool things happening on the podcast. I want to tell you about that. Our moving day from the Facebook group, we're going to be talking about that to make sure that everybody knows when and how we're going to get everybody from Facebook onto our app. So once again, if you're watching on Facebook, this is for you. If you're in our Facebook group, you realize, hey, this is not going to be happening. Yeah, I'm not going to be checking in the Facebook group. We're going to focus 100% on the app, and you'll see why. And there's a free preview right now. Also, we're going to then go into our vital signs. Vital signs is where we talk about something that's vital to your creator lifestyle. That will be our 5 reasons to trust God's timing, which I just discussed. And we're going to talk about that. That goes along with our YouVersion plan. Then we're going to talk about automating your relationship building. This is something that I don't think a lot of creators think about. A lot of creators don't think about the fact that they need to build relationships consistently, and they need to track those relationships. It's not a salesy play for you to have a customer or a client relationship management system so that you pay attention to who you've talked to, when you talk to them, what you need to share. And so I'm doing that with a tool called Clay. I'm going to talk about that. Then what's the current biggest struggle for everyone? This is going to be where I'm going to kind of go off script. Usually this is a question that has already been asked, but today I said, you know what? I will even invite you on screen with me. If you want to come in, I can send you a code. I can email you a code, and you can actually come on with me. So this is going to be kind of like an open-ended Q&A at the end where I will ask you, what's your current biggest struggle? Because I think if we can focus on that as school year starts, as things get ramped up to the last quarter of the year, and in a couple of months, we're going to be sailing into 2026, which is crazy to say, but we're on the second half of the year now. So I would love to make sure that we are all on the same page of what's your biggest struggle. Because if I am producing and creating content, I want to make sure it addresses your biggest struggle. Finally, we'll talk about our prescription, signing up for our personal reading group, as well as some other cool things that are happening. Good to see everybody else joining us on TikTok. Once again, if you're joining on TikTok and you can't see my screen, feel free to hop over to YouTube through the bio. All right, so let's switch it up a little bit here. Now, we are going to continue, as I always like to put this slide out. This has basically been our Summer of Freedom for creators, but as you all know, most times summer's end is unofficially Labor Day. So we're kind of coasting into the end of our Summer of Freedom. There'll be a new theme in our best year ever that we've been doing throughout our year as a God and Gigs community. This month, the focus, if I can talk today, this month the focus is on clarity. So inside our group, inside our accelerator program, we've been doing our accelerator program with 5 amazing creators who are building and working on their projects. So everything inside God and Gigs right now, we're talking about clarity. How do you get clarity with where you're moving? It's the second half of the year, we've said. So maybe the first half of the year, you thought you were going a certain direction. Now you realize I got to change things up, or I need to get clear on what I started with. So that's what we'll be talking about throughout the summer. And speaking of knowing when to move and having clarity, this is why it's so exciting that our next YouVersion devotional is out. I don't have any sound effects. I would play like the air horn or something like that. We have now released the creator's timing. Oh, by the way, please, if you are on, I would love to, I see my mic moving, but I always love to see comments just because I always have this fear that I've been talking to myself for the last 5 minutes and nobody told me. So if there's sound and everything's good, give me a thumbs up, give me some hearts, give me some likes, things like that. Even over here, I see Crystal Shay is over here on TikTok. Oh, look, gosh, hope you can hang out with us, okay? So please make sure that you are commenting if you have the ability to get to your comment section, because that also helps me make sure that everything's working. So the creator's timing is now available on YouVersion. Now, I did not, and you guys know, every week I forget to create a banner for this particular thing. Every week I'm like, oh my gosh, I have not done one. So let me quickly change this up. Now, if you want to jump right in, if you're not already on the YouVersion app, you just want to do a search for creator's timing, here's a link that I created that will work to get you to this plan, godandgigs.com/creators timing. Now, this is not my personal reading group. We're going to be doing a personal reading group throughout the next week. Starting on Monday, we're going to read 5 days all together and reading it in the app with friends. My particular reading group is super cool because there's a talk to each other section at the end, or talk it out section where you can put your takeaways. So it's super cool to read others people's comments and share throughout the week what you're learning. So honestly, my favorite way to do this is with the group. And you can form your own group, by the way, but my group starts on Monday. This link is just for the regular, whenever you want to read it. So just want to make that clear. That's not for my group. I can give you that URL in a second. Okay. So please go check it out. Our other plans are all there at godandgigs.com/YouVersion. So if you want to find that plan and all the plans, the easiest way is to put godandgigs.com/YouVersion. Now, lately on the podcast, we have had some cool guests, but our latest episode was actually this, our live stream, but we chopped it up and just put the section on how to finally set your prices with confidence and how to figure out that kind of mindset to charge what the product is worth. So this was a hugely important thing. We had a lot of questions about this inside our accelerator. As I clean off my glasses, because it always seems like my glasses are so dirty. So you guys are seeing me half blind right now. My wife always talks about this. She doesn't understand why my glasses get so dirty all the time when I don't touch them. I swear I don't touch them. It's like they're a magnet for dust and stuff. So what we are going to be talking about in this podcast, or what we can talk about, because we did, is how to set your prices. Now that's godandgigs.com/348. 348. godandgigs.com/348 is the most recent podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, I would love for you guys to check that out after this and give it a like, give it a share. You guys, I'm going to be talking about YouTube in the next month or so on this, next week. Wow, came up right away. Next week, I'm going to be talking about YouTube and how we grew this channel, and things as simple as liking it and sharing it is what gets it in front of people. We don't need to have 1 million subscribers for us to have impact on YouTube. So if you can hop over there, give it a like, watch it, try to watch it all the way through. That's the other thing that really helps YouTube, is watching it, so that if you don't click it, then click away. That actually kind of gives YouTube the signal that people aren't interested. Now, maybe you just couldn't watch it the whole time. But one of my big things for all of my friends is that I try my best. If I start watching your video on your channel, I let it play, even if I have to turn away, because I don't want YouTube to get the signal that I was disinterested in your content. So that's a little tip that I give to everybody. If you are helping your other creators by watching their videos, do your best to not stop it. Let it play. So I would love for you guys to check that out. That's godandgigs.com/348. Now, the big move. We are moving from our Facebook group to 360. So as you can see, there's 16 days, 7 hours, and 16 minutes left currently before we move all the way from Facebook. And once again, those of you who are watching on Facebook, if you're watching right now, this is not the Facebook page. The Facebook page is not going away. And the group honestly is not going away. I'm just going to stop administrating it. So unfortunately, usually when you stop administrating a group, it turns into kind of like a spam central. I don't know why that is. People just say, oh, no one's paying attention. I'm just going to start posting everything. And I don't want that to happen. But at the same time, it's just not worth it for me to pay attention to a place where only 5 people see the post. Meanwhile, in the group, everybody sees the post because everybody's connected, and there's no guardrails in terms of ads or algorithms or anything in Facebook. I'm sorry, in 360, in our personal community app. Okay, so that's why we're moving in 16 days. By September 1st, we will no longer check into the Facebook group. I will leave it fallow, as the Bible says. Like, I was just going to leave it like open ground. Whoever wants to come there can come there, but it's not going to be actively managed anymore. So I would invite you guys to come over to our home for Faith Focused Creators 360. And let me give you a quick look at what that is. That is our algorithm-free home for creators, so that you can become the creator that you were created to be. It's where we're going to have discipline. I'm sorry, not going to. We do have discipline-specific discussions, which means there's a forum for podcasters and content creators. There's a forum for visual artists and makers and crafters. There's a forum for artists. When I say artists, I mean for writers and authors. I should say authors, are all artists. But for writers and authors, there's a space for those of you who are entrepreneurial, who want marketing. Every single one of these things has an individual place where you can share. All of our creative workshops and trainings are stored there in our Creative Resource Center. So you can join for just $10 a month right now. It's $10 a month, kind of hint there. It may not stay that way after September 1st. So all of our creative workshops and trainings are available for just $10 a month. Prayer and spiritual encouragement. We have our prayer chats, and we share a spiritual encouragement. I've said many times that our app is like having your business coach, your creative bestie, and your Bible study all in the same place. So if you want to join us there, and there is a free preview. In other words, you can jump in right now and you can see the entire thing. You do not have to be a member to literally see what we're doing right now in the app. Okay, you can literally just go in there right now, godandgigs.com/app, and see what we've been posting. Like, it's basically, I open the doors. Now, you can't, of course, respond and talk right now because you're not a member. But there's a little button that says join. So if you want to join us before September 1st, before prices go up, because again, I don't want to be pressuring you guys to join because of the price, which is why I haven't really mentioned it. But I will start to be honest and say, hey, the price is going to go up once we close the Facebook group, because then obviously it becomes more and more valuable because we're not meeting anywhere else. We're only going to be meeting as a group inside the app. Okay, so I would love for you guys to check that out. Again, there's a free preview right now, right there at godandgigs.com/app. Okay, we're almost ready for our vital signs, but there was one other slide that I'm missing, and that's strange. I don't know where it went. I was going to talk about my trip tomorrow, or not tomorrow, I keep saying tomorrow, next week. I'm a little thrown off here. I'm going to go here for a second and just kind of slide through and see if I forgot something. It must have gotten erased somehow. Weird. Anyway, okay, I guess. Or I put it in the wrong place. Here it is. Okay. My fault. I was like, there's something missing, and I know it is. So just to give you guys a little hint of what's going on, I am going to be on the road, which is new for me. I don't necessarily do a lot of traveling. But if you're going to be in Dallas between the 19th and 21st of next week, I will be at Podcast Movement. And that is an amazing, amazing, it's really kind of like the epicenter of podcasting for 4 days. They just take over. So I will be there from the 19th to the 21st. And then if you're in Atlanta, you can find me at VidFest, which is our PodFest friends. They're now doing a video conference as well. So we already spoke this January in Orlando. This time I'll be in Atlanta speaking about how to get your first 1,000 subscribers as a go-to thought leader, and that will be in a beautiful and amazing panel. We're right after our friend Roberto Blake that we just interviewed in June. So it's all coming together. It's a beautiful thing. So this is kind of cool. So if you are in Atlanta, please let me know, because we do have complimentary passes possibly for you. If you would like to come and be my guest, help us get some content, might be able to get you in. So let me know if you're interested in joining me at VidFest. August 21st is just kind of the fly-in day. So 22nd and 23rd, I'll be flying back out. So join us in Atlanta if you're there. Join us in Dallas if you are there. Podcast Movement, I think, still has tickets available as well. They're in Grapevine, Texas. Okay? All right. Now I think I've gotten to everything. Knew there was something missing. But now let's go ahead and jump into our phytoscience. All right, so let's talk about the 5 reasons that you should be able to trust God's timing when you're unsure. Now, I would love to see some comments either here on TikTok, here on YouTube. Again, I don't know what happened with LinkedIn. I'm actually going to do a quick check here and see. Oh, wait, is it still gone? It's likely they're working to fix it. Try ending this stream and creating a new one. No, we're not doing a new stream. Nope, we're not doing that. All right, so... yep, we're going to be off of this. All right, so no LinkedIn today. Sorry, guys. All right, just saw that. That's still not working. So let's talk about the 5 reasons to trust God's timing. So I would love some interaction here. Oh, before we keep going, good to see Precious J in the building. Precious J Tankard, awesome to have you here. Precious, love everything you've been doing and sharing and the songwriting. And like, she's everywhere, y'all. She's like the hardest working woman in the entertainment business. Like, I don't see a time that you are not somewhere doing something. And was even trying to connect with you in Atlanta. So great to see you, my friend. Thank you for commenting, letting you know that you're in the building. I see a few people here on TikTok. So I know some people are lurkers. They just watch. They're doing something else. So I get it. You can't always comment. But anytime you comment, it kind of just reminds everyone that, hey, we're a community. We're here. This is a dialogue, not a monologue. Okay, you don't want to hear me just talk. Trust me. So let's talk about these 5 reasons to trust God's timing. To trust God's timing. Here's the thing, honestly, when it comes to this. This is one of those things that all of us think about, but none of us really have a good handle on, because God does not usually show up with a schedule. God does not sit down with us and say, okay, Alan, by next week, you should be here doing this job. And then the week after that, I want you to move over here. And then over here, I'll decide that I'll put this person in your path and I'd like you to do this. Like, God does not operate with a schedule that we can see. But we can say he operates on a schedule. He created time. He doesn't have to operate within time. He's outside of it. But he has chosen, with our experience, to use what we might call a schedule. He has things that are appointed for a certain time. It says even in the Bible that God has appointed a certain time called today, and he calls it the day of salvation. So every day is on God's schedule as a day of salvation. Like, if you woke up today and you don't know God, you don't know Jesus, the schedule says today is the day of salvation. Like, that's God's schedule. Does everybody see what I'm saying? So God has a schedule. He has things that are supposed to happen at certain times, and we are operating within his schedule. But how do you know you're in sync with it? This is the question that so many creators struggle with. Should I release a song now? Should I release a song later? Should I join this church now? Should I join this church later? Should I talk to this person now for this contract? Should I talk to them later? Should I not talk to this person at all? What's the right timing? So much of our creative lives is based on when is the right time for things. So I thought what would be good on the heels of us sharing the Creator's Timing on You version is to just take you through the 5 things. I'm basically going to tell you what's in the devotional. Now, obviously, this does not include the Bible verses and all of the discussions. So I'm just going to give you a 5-minute overview of the reading plan, the 5 reasons why you can trust God's timing. Then I would love for you to join me once again. If you want to read this entire thing, all you got to do is go to godandgigs.com/creators timing. And I'll tell you right now, I think the URL for my group, I think it is godandgigs.com/timing-group. Don't quote me on that. I got to check, okay? But if you want to read the entire thing along with us, you got to join us on Friday. Okay, so let's talk about the first reason that you can trust God's timing when you are unsure. The first reason is God's timing has purpose. Now, the reason why this is a reason that you can trust God's timing when you're unsure is because a lot of times we feel unsure about that very purpose. We don't know why we are going to do what we're going to do because we're not sure of our why. Should I do this deal? Well, I'm not sure because is my why because I want to be famous, or is my why because I want to promote character and honor and love and beauty? Is my why because I have something good to share, or because I have a bill to pay? Our whys always get confused, which means our purpose is not sure. God doesn't have that issue. God does not have an issue with why he is doing what he is doing. He is never unsure about his purpose. So that means his timing always has purpose. So you can trust his timing because there's never a time that God is confused about his why. He knows why he's doing what he's doing when he's doing it. So if we can get in sync with God's timing, we become in sync with his purpose. There's never a time that God is doing something randomly. You guys know this, random acts of kindness. We hear that all the time, right? God doesn't random. He does not do random. So because God doesn't do random, we can trust his timing. Now, in the devotional, I'm going to talk a little bit more about what that kind of looks like. These are short lessons, so don't worry. We're not going to go deep into that in any case, but it gives you a window into understanding a mindset that I can trust God's timing because there's a purpose behind it. If he makes me wait, there's a purpose. If he tells me to go, there's a purpose. If he says, it's up to you, which is something God will say. He will say, you make the decision. And you'll be like, well, God, is it yes or no? And he's like, and that silence has purpose. God's silence has purpose. God's go has purpose. God's no has purpose. There's never a time that God is speaking or sharing or giving something in your heart. There's not a why attached to it. So you can trust it because that's never a question. You may not understand the purpose, but there is one. And knowing that is another reason why you can trust God's purpose. Everybody understand? All right, we're going to keep going quick because this is kind of like an overview, like I said. Number 2, God's timing is perpetual. What is perpetual? Fancy word for forever. God's timing does not take a break. When you are wondering if you're in a season of waiting or a season of moving, it's in the perspective of God saying from the end to the beginning and farther, from before the beginning and after the end, his timing is in operation. Before there was time, he knew what time was going to be for you, for me, for everyone. The Bible actually says he has set eternity in Ecclesiastes in the hearts of men. You have a awareness, a very faint, untapped awareness of eternity. It's why we feel so strongly about our work, because we have a sense of eternity. We have a feeling, we can't put our finger on it, but we have a feeling like something I'm doing matters forever. That's that idea of God's eternity, his perpetual timing. We have something that of that in us, but we can't access it without checking in with him. And when we want to know when to make a certain decision, whether or not it's going to move now or later, we need to tap into the understanding that God's timing is perpetual. Whatever I'm doing has eternity written in it. Whatever decision I make, when I make it, has eternity attached to it. This is super deep, like I said, but I think creators, we have to get into this. We have to understand that your purpose and your timing is not just for you and now. It's not just, oh, should I do this gig now? No, there's eternal, weird to say, consequences to you making that decision. There's eternal decision making that has already been made for your temporal decision making. So creators, my friends, artists, don't think of just the thing that you're doing next as just the thing. Now, it may be temporary right now, right? But its temporary action has an eternal consequence. There is something in every decision that is eternal because it's connected to God's timing. God's timing is always about perpetual motion, perpetual decision making that he's already made that we are operating in. So to get in sync with his schedule, we got to understand his timing is perpetual. Whoops, wrong thing. Where am I at? I'm here. There we are. God's timing includes other people is number 3. Are you guys tracking with me? If this is helping, I know I'm going really fast, but I didn't want to spend too much time on this because I want to make sure you guys are reading this with us. God's timing includes other people. I love this point that I really realized when I was reading some of the things about Elijah and Elisha and the widow woman, right? And the fact that Elisha was sent to a widow woman and ended up getting fed by someone who was on their last meal, right? God's timing included that other person. There were 2 people involved that didn't know each other, and all of a sudden they come together and the timing was perfect. The reason why sometimes we have to remind ourselves of this is because we try to time our own work in a vacuum as if it doesn't affect anybody else, and it always affects somebody else. So a better prayer to pray than, God, should I do this? Should I do that? A better prayer is, God, who will be impacted by this decision? And how can my decision be best suited for your will for that other person that I don't even know yet? It is a prayer of faith because you don't know that person yet, but it is an acknowledgement that there are other people involved in your decision that you are not aware of. And so tuning yourself to get in sync with God's schedule means I think of other people just like God thought of those other people before I even make the decision. My decision will impact others, so I'm going to keep them in mind before I overstep my bounds and think of something else. Yes, I love this, Precious. I see you. My purpose is beyond my now. Oof, see, I love your way with words, my friend. Man, my purpose is beyond my now. You got to remember that. All right, I'm writing that down. I'm going to hashtag that one. Okay? So that's number 3. I know I'm going through these fast. Number 4, God's timing always includes a plan of action. One of our struggles as creators, faith-focused creators, Christian creators is, what do I do? What do I do? When do I do it? What's the next step? ABC, whatever it is. Fact is that God's timing is always attached to a plan of action. Even if that action is wait, that's still an action. Sitting still is an action. I'm sitting. Now, I'm not moving anywhere else, but the action is stay. The action is move. The action is talk. The action is something. So there is never a time of stagnation in God where you're like, oh, nothing's happening. No, something's happening. Something is happening, and the something is happening while you're doing the something of sitting. There's still something happening. It is an action. It's just not your particular action at the time. So when you think of God's timing to get in sync with his schedule, think of the fact that God has a plan of action in place. He's doing it, and he's done it, whether you talk about Jesus and his plan of action over 2,000 years, or his plan of action when there were that 50 days after Jesus ascended, and he's like, stay here until the Holy Spirit comes, and it was 50 days, and boom, right? So all of this has to do with God's plan of action. God's timing always has an action. So to get in sync with his schedule, let's start listening. Let's start paying attention. Let's start thinking, if there's timing involved, There's a plan involved, and there's actions and plans that God has in place that I am supposed to follow along with my decisions so that they will be in line. Again, can I go into all of this in a 5-day devotional? No. That's one of the struggles of writing these devotionals and writing these reading plans. You realize, like, there is so much more that we could talk about, and I can't get into it all. But this is kind of like a primer of some ways to think about God's timing. All right, we made it to number 4. We're almost to number 5. You guys ready for the last one? If you guys are ready, I'm looking over here at TikTok. You guys got a couple of you hanging out with us. 6 people over here right now, maybe a few more if I can't get all the stats from some of my other platforms that are, not working right. So God's timing is always attached to a promise. This one I love. This one, when I looked into the scriptures, and again, I'm being very, 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 I want to be very humble that there's no way we could have done a deep dive into any of this in a reading plan like this. A reading plan is designed to just kind of like give you the opening doors to the next thing to step into. So God's timing is attached to a promise. There's never a time that God has a time in place for a certain thing, a decision that's going to be made, a way that he's going to move, something that we're going to do that isn't attached to a promise. As I just mentioned, Pentecost, wait until the Holy Spirit comes. Timing was attached to the promise. What's the promise? The Holy Spirit comes. Okay? Whenever he talks to Mary and he's like, in an appointed time, you will have a son. When he talks to Hannah, to the mother of Samuel, in this time, you will have a son. Like, there's never a time that God says, hey, by this date blank, and it's not a promise attached to that particular date. He just doesn't do it. He doesn't say, hey, in a few days, the sun's going to shine and it's going to rain. And that's not his way. When he sets a time, there's a promise attached to that time. He doesn't do, again, random, and he doesn't proclaim or discuss or talk about time in conditions that do not involve something that will glorify him. So if it's going to glorify him, he's going to make sure that his word will not return void, and there will be a promise attached to that timing. How does that apply to us as creators as I rush to a close? That means anytime you are wondering, is God asking me to stay or to go, to move or to sit or whatever, to sign this deal or not sign this deal, ask yourself and then pray, God, let me be in your perfect will of your timing and reveal or show me the promise that you are making in the place that you want me to move and the timing that you wish me to move in. Because there's never a time that God does not have a promise attached. Will he show you the entire promise? Maybe not. Is there a promise? Yes. The question is, should you be moving without a promise attached? And the answer is no. The promise might just be his faithfulness. His promise just might be his goodness. His promise just might be his reward for obedience. That's still a promise. There's never a time that God sets up a time for you to move or something to happen that there isn't a promise attached. So look for the promise. Be aware of the promise. Do not do something based on your promise and your own thinking that your promise is enough. The promise that you have set up is not enough. If that's the reason that you're moving or making a decision of a certain kind of timing, you're on your own, because God's timing is attached to his promise. As a matter of fact, I probably should change that. God's timing is attached to our promise. It should be God's timing is attached to his promise. All right, you guys. So I hope that blessed you. And again, if you want to join us in that reading, you can go to godandgigs.com/creators-timing. But if you want to join our reading plan, I want to say again, I don't have this written out, but I think it's godandgigs.com/timing-group. Timing-group. Okay, so just switch those two words around. Timing-group if you want to join my personal group that starts on Monday. But if you're watching this on replay after Monday, this particular link will get you there. Awesome. That was a blessing for me to go through, man. I forgot how much is in that plan. And just for me to force myself to review it with you reveals that, hey, there's a lot more that we got to dig into, but we can't do it on every single plan. So we're going to try to keep things moving with this particular live stream. All right. Again, those of you who are checking us out on TikTok, I know you can't see my screen, but we're about to do a stinger and we're about to go into our next section, which is our lab work. All right. This is fun. This was going to be fun. Okay. I always like just get like my hands, and then we get into like the lab work. If you're joining us for the first time, our lab work is where we talk about something specific that is helping me in my creator journey, my creator lifestyle right now. A tool that I'm using, a tactic that's working. I just open up my computer and like, hey, what's working for me right now? What am I doing to survive and to thrive as a creator in this creator lifestyle? So this has been like something that I've gone back and forth on and now has become like my go-to. So when I say automate your relationship building, first of all, let's really be honest and just say some of us who are introverted think we can just kind of live out our lives in a bubble of, I'm just going to sit in my room. I'm just going to write these poems. I'm just going to write these songs. I really don't want to deal with people. Let's be honest. You cannot do this creator life alone. You need other people and you need to build relationships, even if it's with the people who are going to publish your book, the people who are going to edit your podcast, the people who are going to help you get that museum space or that shelf space or that art space in terms of your booth in art. Like, you're going to have to deal with people. So there's no such thing as a lone wolf creative. You can act like one, but you really need to know how to build relationships, how to work with people. A matter of fact, LaShonda Brown's live stream recently, I think it was just yesterday, yeah, on the monetizing influence, you should really go check that out. Okay. They were talking about the fact that a lot of creators who don't go the mainstream route of just getting a 9-to-5 job, traditional job, they struggle with the soft skills. I think it was Justin Moore that said this. So Justin, I want to make sure I credit you. The fact that you struggle with working with people might mean that you have not spent enough time working with people. You haven't had to sit down and negotiate. You haven't had to sit down and say, hey, in this band, let me make sure I listen to everybody else play. I'm not just in my room playing by myself anymore. I'm in a band. And musicians are supposed to listen. It's kind of like our job to listen to music and then play and play with people, not play at them. Ooh, I want to go there, but I'm not. Don't play at people, play with them. Okay? So this is why automating your relationship building starts with relationship building. But the tool that I really love that I've started using a lot is called Clay. So I think it's clay.earth, which is such a strange name, but I love that. Clay.earth is where you can actually go. But you can go to godandgigs.com/clay. Let me put that in before I forget, because I don't think I have a specific thing. It's in our toolbox, our toolkit, which you can always find at godandgigs.com/toolkit. But that's the actual link to our affiliate code, so you guys can check out Clay. What Clay does, and you know what I'm going to do? I do every time. I'm like, I should just show you. We may lose. Let's do this first to make sure I don't lose myself. Let's go to this. And let's go, and we're going to go ahead and share screen. Let me see if I can get to Clay. Share screen. Okay, hold on 1 second. I'm going to get this out. We're actually going to look into my Clay account. Oh, I know what I got to do. Give me 1 second. I got to do this. Now I can do it. So forgive me as I click around, because I want to show you guys instead of tell you about it. I want to show you. All right, I think I got it. I need your help here, guys. If you can see this, please let me know if you can see my space here. Can you guys see that? Let me know if you can see it. Oh, of course, I'm talking about YouTube and Facebook and stuff. I know you guys can't see it. If you guys want to hop over on TikTok, I got all these things mixed up. Can you guys see it? I'm going to hope you guys can see it. I think I can see it. I'm seeing it here. So I think my mouse is moving, so I think we're good. Okay, so, whoops, wrong thing. Got a million things up again. Where's Clay? So, as you can see here, these are my relationships, and this is a running board of who I should be checking in with, my meetings. And then randomly, again, I said there's no random, but this is super cool because this is telling me people that I should check back in with. I love this one. Look, this is Leanne. We just checked in with Leanne, and it tells me how long ago I checked in with her, how many meetings I've had, all the different information. I don't want to give away people's emails, so we're going to go away from that. But yeah, I think this works. Yeah, this is a little bit better. Where I don't want to show off too much information from other personal people, but this is basically what it does. It shows you who you can connect with, who you have connected with, and this actually gets pulled in from my contacts and Instagram and LinkedIn. So when I tell you this is super cool. Oh wait, and this is dope. I don't know, can you guys see this? Let me know if you guys are seeing this. You can see it? Awesome. Thank you, Debbie. Very cool. Glad you guys could see it. Thanks for joining us, Debbie. All right, so I love this feature. I'll tell you right now, I'm about to travel to Dallas. Okay? I'm about to travel to Dallas and Atlanta next week. 2 conferences in a row. I know, I'm crazy. I've never done 1 conference that fast. Now I'm doing 2. But let's just say I want to figure out where are my contacts that are nearby. Well, thanks to Clay, I can see we got some friends in Dallas. And let's say I want to connect with them. So I can simply go over here, zoom in. And again, this is not they're not sharing something that I don't know. This is not something that's, proprietary. This is not their privacy. This is just the area that they're in. Okay, so I can see where people are at. Like, okay, maybe I can check in on Tim. Maybe I can check on Virginia. Maybe I can check. Oh, I'm going to check on Yoshika. I got to go find Yoshika because I know Yoshika's nearby. See, she's kind of far away. But so that particular thing is just so powerful because now I have this running understanding of the relationships that I'm building. And so every single time I want to get back, let me see, let's go back here. Or can I make sure you guys can hear me? Why can't I get out? Oh, I got to stop sharing. Stop screen. There we go. Sorry about that. I got myself lost. So if you guys see what that is, that's kind of, again, like the automating of the relationships, especially how those people were popped up. Every single day, a new relationship or an old one pops up where it's like, hey, I should check in on that person. Hey, I met with that person 3 weeks ago. What are they doing now? Hey, and it's humanizing. And there's even an AI component of that tool. And the AI component, again, is a blessing because it's not telling me anything that's not available on Google. It's not scooping or scraping any data that's not already publicly available. But if I want to remember someone's birthday, hey, what was that? And then I can ask AI, hey, I'm about to meet with this person. Tell me 3 things that are on their social media that they've already shared. Again, they've already shared it. That would make a good gift. And this is inside your stuff. So it's not being shared with Clay. It's only inside your thing. So they're not using it for any other data. It's already publicly available. But now I can go and say, hey, I think this person would really like blank. I did one where I realized that one of our people loved a certain kind of candy. And I was like, hey, I see their candy there. What? And so we wanted to make sure that candy was on their desk when they showed up. Right? This is the kind of stuff that you can do with Clay. So automating your relationships, making sure that there's different ways that you can continue to stay connected with people. That is what we're talking about. And it's what I would suggest as lab work because it's helping me and it's helping me build up my connections as I'm building more things. And again, your creator lifestyle depends on your relationships. The quality of your creator lifestyle is really based on the quality of your relationships. If you don't have quality relationships, you don't have a quality creator lifestyle. And especially as faith-focused creators, you really cannot talk about how you want to share God's love, share God's beauty, share God's joy, and not build relationships. That's just par for the course. If you want to build up these kind of a thriving creator lifestyle, you got to have this kind of mindset of building relationships. Awesome. Okay, let's jump. I think, I'm going to jump in next to our consult. But this is where I need y'all to jump in, okay? So I'm not going to do this unless y'all going to help me out because this is where you have to be involved. You promise? Pinky promise? Okay, we're going to jump into the next thing. All right, y'all. This is the question on the board, and I need your answers. Okay, so those of you who are watching live, and if you're watching on replay Even if you're watching on TikTok, I'll glance over here and see if I can see you guys on TikTok. Um, what is your current biggest struggle? And notice the word current. Here's why it's so important that I changed it to current, because maybe at the beginning of the year, your biggest struggle was X. We started our best year ever, which is our entire theme for the year. What's your creator's best year ever? Well, we can't have your best creative year ever if you're also having your biggest struggle ever and you don't know how to fix it or what it is. And I can't design our next workshop, which is I'm actually doing as soon as I get off this call. I'm going to go make some calls and see who's going to be our next workshop. It'll be at the end of the month, most likely, because I'm out of town next week. But I want to make sure that our next presenter focuses on a struggle that you're actually having, and it's the current one, the thing that is making you want to, I always say pull my hair out as if I had any, but the stuff that is driving you insane, because every time you look at Facebook or you Google or you open up your app or whatever, it's like this problem is staring you in the face. So this is where you get to come in. And again, if you would like to come on camera, if you would like to be, if you're a camera ready and you want to join me, you can email me at alan@guidinggeeks.com right now, or I will even give you the text number. Wow, I'm even going to do this. I'm going to put the text number here. This is crazy, right? But if you want to get the link and you want to text me right now, I am actually going to give you, please don't share with everybody, but right there in the comments is my text. So you can text me right now if you want to jump on. We have about 9 minutes left. And if you would like to come on screen and share what your biggest struggle is, or maybe you don't want to come on screen, but you can still do the talking. Now, I'm going to have to put my headphones when I do this because I'll have to actually listen to you, of course. But I'm going to be watching. And if I see the text pop up, we'll put you up on screen. And I'll just have to send you that link from StreamYard so that you can join us, okay? But I have an invite link right there. So I am looking right now for anyone who wants to share, number one, what your current biggest struggle is right now. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you some possibilities. Okay. Some possibilities, but I see some answers coming up already. Perfect. So some possibilities that you might be struggling with is, let's be straight up. It's one of mine, and I'm not afraid to share this. Cash flow. Cash flow could be your biggest struggle. It could be, I am inspired. I'm writing music. I am not having problems with creative work at all in terms of coming up with ideas. What I'm having trouble with is paying the bills. What I'm having trouble with, that has been like one of the biggest things, because this has been one of our best years ever in terms of our influence. Our community looks fantastic. We're getting speaking arrangements now, speaking gigs and things like that. That's great. One thing that I know I want to improve is revenue. I can tell you that honestly. Why? Because I want to do better for you. I want to create more things for this community. And if revenue is ever an issue, it means I have to slow things down. And that is not what I want. So one of the big things that could be your biggest struggle is, I just need to make more money. Okay. It could be what I just mentioned, relationships. I'm in a town where nobody talks to anyone. Everything's competitive. I don't know where to show up or how to get people on my side or on my team, because nobody wants to talk to anybody and there's no teamwork. It's all about me, 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 me. Maybe that's your biggest struggle right now. And you're just like, I can't go any further because I don't know anyone that's willing to jump on board with me. Maybe your biggest struggle could be not relationships and not financial. It could be spiritual. It could be, I'm just feeling depressed. Mental health is a big thing. We're actually going to be supporting a Shayla Shanae's Love Struck. She has an entire worship experience designed around mental health down here in South Florida. I'm 100% behind that. Why? Because we can't even talk about these other problems. The Bible says that what does it profit a man to gain your whole world and lose your soul? If your soul is depressed, hope deferred makes the heart sick. That's what Proverbs says. So that could be your biggest struggle, could be mental and emotional and spiritual. If that's the case, that's what we want to do to help you. We want to create resources and provide resources to help you in those areas. So just 3 possibilities of things that could be your greatest struggle. If you're watching this on replay and I don't get to respond to it right now, please put it in the comments. I am literally going to follow through with that, read every comment, and that's how we'll decide what we'll present for the next 2 or 3 months. So, Precious, amazing to have you here sharing and being vulnerable. I appreciate that. current biggest struggle? Staying connected to supporters and consistently making book sales. Whew, love both of these. Not that you're experiencing them, but I love that you're able to share them. Okay, so the first one I'm literally going to be talking about next week at VidFest. Staying connected to supporters. It's the beautiful thing is you have supporters, okay? So let's address that number one. The fact that you have supporters, precious, the fact that you have people who love your work, who want to support you, is literally what most creators would dream to have. Basically, your 1,000 true fans, right? No matter what's 1,000, 100, 10, they're still true fans. They love what you do and they want to support you. Staying connected to them is what you mentioned is your biggest struggle. So my first immediate response is, how do they connect? Are they, like I just put out my text number, right? Maybe some of you guys aren't text people. Like maybe you're actually on your phone right now, so you couldn't text me because like you're not really in that mode. You're not a texting person. You're a calling person. You're an email person. You're an X person. You're a Facebook person. So the first thing when you say stay connected to supporters is to find out what's their language of support. How do they connect? Do they connect through email? Do they connect through text? Do they connect through Facebook? Like where do they show up more authentically themselves versus you begging them to come over to a certain platform or a certain way? The second thing would be, how do you share what you want to connect with them with? So the how is more the method and the messaging. So it could be that you want to connect with them deeper on a deeper level in terms of engagement, in terms of sharing your personal life, sharing what you really do outside of the creative studio. Well, that involves a different kind of mindset in terms of documenting your life, documenting what you're doing, staying connected to them that way, showing them that you are a real person too, that you're not just this amazing songwriter that gets to go out on tours and manage and do all these kind of things. Maybe it's letting people into that part of your world, and that connects them to, oh, she's not just a songwriter, she's dope all over the place. So maybe that changes the way you think about the way you create what you connect with, which might be connecting through more personal vlogging style things that you may not have done before because you thought, oh, they're not interested in that. They're interested in my music. They're interested in my lifestyle or how I share who I'm rocking with this week and that kind of stuff. And it might be, they might connect more on, hey, you know, what's your, I don't know, I'm making this up, so please don't give me, I'm not trying to go anywhere weird, but what's your, you know, fitness? What's your, what do you do with that? Like these other areas that may not feel like they connect might be the thing that they connect with most and might gravitate to. Now, obviously, when I talk about method, I'm going to always gravitate to things you own in terms of email list and text messaging and other things where you own the connection. So that third piece I would say is, how can you make sure that you have this kind of ecosystem that they live in? I saw this from Pat Flynn in another interview with Pat Flynn and Nathan Berry. And he was talking about how when Pat Flynn created a massive Pokemon channel out of nowhere, like he just loved Pokemon, but he's a master builder and creator. So he talks about like the universe, like people love Pokemon because they're in a universe. Like they have all these different things. I know nothing about Pokemon, but there's like a universe, right? There's a universe of Lord of the Rings. There's a universe for Star Trek and Star Wars. There's a universe for Marvel and DC, like the Marvel universe, right? What's your universe? Who are the people who are the recurring characters in your universe, the universe of Precious J? How could you make that a universe where people are like, oh, I'm a part of that. I'm a character in this. So how can you connect with those people via email or whatever, where you shout them out, where you say, hey, was just got an email reply from such and such, such. Y'all remember her? She's this. Y'all remember this person? He's that. When you make people a part of your universe, they realize that you are actually reaching out to them, and you basically say, yeah, without your part in the play doesn't work. They become stakeholders inside it. So that's three things I could say real quick that's staying connected to your supporters. Number one, obviously, you need to get their email. You need to get their text. You need to make sure they have a personal connection. But all those things are just ways to stay connected with them. And then the cool thing, again, is that they're already supporters. So you're evangelizing through them. They become the people who share the message. You don't have to share the message all the time. I hope that helped. That was a dope reason. Now, one other thing, consistently making book sales kind of goes along with that. If you are making these personal connections, And then these people become kind of like your launch team. The consistent messaging now becomes, hey, when you become a part of the universe, this is like required reading for being a part of, like, for me, I don't necessarily push God and Gigs the book, as I have my book right here, because we can both talk as being authors. I don't push the book that much because the book is not required reading anymore, to be straight up with you. To be a member of our community, you do not need to read God and Gigs the book because that was written to church musicians. So it's no longer required reading for you to be a part of the God and Gigs community to read my book. Does that make sense? Now, if your book is required reading for your community, now it becomes, well, yeah, like everybody's read it because this is like my manifesto. This is how I share what I share, and this solves particular problems for you. So the messaging becomes less of buy my book and more of here is who we are. Here is what I say because I believe this so strongly, and it's just a kind of a business card. If you want to understand everything about me, read this. So it's less about selling the book itself and more about the messaging behind the book and what it represents. So once the book represents something else, it's no longer a product to be sold, but it's a message to be shared. Does that make sense? Because as a message to be shared, now you're not thinking in terms of product, of moving product. You're thinking of kind of creating the groundwork for here's everything we share. Your Art God's Heart is probably more for me in that line of work. It's that line of read Your Art God's Heart. You get the messaging behind what God and Gigs is all about. Again, I haven't really been pushing selling God and Gigs or the books. Maybe I need to work on that a little more. But that would be my thought process behind that. Consistently making book sales means you got to have consistent messaging. There has to be consistent promotion. Atomic Habits has been on the top of the bestseller list for Amazon for almost at least 10 years. I don't know how long Atomic Habits has been out. He has never written another book. James Clear has been marketing Atomic Habits only for like that's it. That's all he's been doing. So some of us authors, we get tired of our own book and we think we got to move on and write the next one or write the next one. That can obviously help, but the consistent marketing of what you're sharing and realizing that this is part of what I share. And this is like, hey, if you read this, you'll understand everything that we're about and you'll be part of the community even more and you have more of an understanding. I think that's an easier sell than just, hey, you should buy my book. I just think that's more of a connection to you and to your message versus, and then the consistency comes because you every time you share about you, the book naturally comes up. I love this. Precious, look, this is what I love about this. Focusing on the impact more. Exactly. She says, makes sense. I believe will be required reading. That's what I believe. Yes, you're in the same sphere as we are, which you are creating this resource. And by the way, please make sure you post it inside the group, inside the membership, because you are a lifetime member now of God and Gigs 360. And I'm going to do something called Social Saturdays, where each week on Saturday, we're all going to just post our most recent post and say, hey, can y'all come on and like this? Can y'all come comment on this? This post needs some love. This post only got 2 views. We're tired of the algorithm. So on Social Saturdays inside the app, this is why you need to be inside the app, ladies and gentlemen, gothandgigs.com/app, so you can see what's going on there. And then you could be a part of that whenever it happens, when I find that. There it is. Okay, so on Saturdays from now on, we're going to be creating this thing where everybody shares what they're doing, Social Saturday, and we all are just going to support each other on the app. Okay. All right. So those were amazing. Precious, thank you so much. And I didn't see other people commenting with their struggle, but I will check the comments later on because maybe you do have a struggle that you just haven't shared. All right. We're over time, but we always love this. So I don't feel bad when we go over time. I'm not going to play a stinger. We're just going to jump in real quick and then make this bigger so you guys can see it. Can't even see where I'm sharing. Here it is. So our prescriptions, got too many things here. Let me close out some stuff. There we go. So our prescriptions. First, join our YouVersion reading group. As I mentioned, you know what? I should probably type this out too. Y'all forgive me for typing a lot today because as usual, I forgot some things. But I think this is, give me a second to check it. I want to make sure this is right. Let me see. God and Gigs pretty. I gotta check my pretty link and make sure that it's correct. I am 99% sure, but I do not want to give you guys the wrong link. I'll actually need one of y'all to check it, please. That would be amazing if you could check it. Timing-group. Timing-group. I just copied it. Yes. Okay, cool. So that is the link to the personal reading group. Okay. gottageeks.com/timing-group. That's to my personal reading plan. And that is, again, where you can jump in. You can read with me and with the rest of us who are reading on the app starting Monday. You can actually start anytime, I think, but it's good when we're all doing it at the same time. So, gottageeks.com/timing-group. I'm grabbing a sip of water as I'm getting so that's how you join us for reading the Creator's Timing. And then, of course, our other idea is to join the 360 app before September 1st, because as I am starting to be honestly sharing without trying to be pushy, there will be a price increase in our membership for at least the Creator Resource Center, which is our basic membership. The basic membership is, they're checking to see if I can stay on TikTok because they're trying to kick me off after an hour. All right, so those are on TikTok. If we got to go, thanks for joining us. Make sure you check the link for the YouTube, because I would love to join you guys over there so you can watch everything on the screens that you missed. So those of you who are hanging out with us, please make sure that you jump into the 360 app, because once again, in about 14 days, 16 days, the app will open for everyone. We'll take down the preview. We'll welcome the new members with a nice little party, and then we will stop using the Facebook group. All that will happen on Labor Day weekend, okay? All right, my friends, we are over time, but this has been an amazing, amazing talk. Thank you so much for Precious to joining us. Excuse me, and some other people who have been jumping in. I think I saw, was it Debbie? Debbie, thank you so much for joining us. And then everybody else who's joining us now on replay, if you're watching and you watched all the way to the end, thank you. Remember, you can go over here to this little QR code. You can give and support us. If you have not bought something recently, you're like, I don't want to buy anything. That's cool. Just support us through that. This is value for value. Like our friend Adam Curry says, we're providing value. We're asking you to give us value in return. But my friends, that is all for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Look out for our podcast coming out on Monday. And for many of you that are going to Podcast Movement who are watching this, I will see you guys in Dallas, and then I'll see you in Atlanta. One quick note, no live stream next Monday or next Friday, because we'll be in the conference, okay? So next Friday, I won't see you guys. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks as far as the live stream is concerned. So make sure you stay tuned to our announcements, our newsletter, all that we'll share. But God bless you guys. Thanks so much. And until next time, continue to become the creator that you were created to be. God bless.